Hey, I see you dialed in.
Good evening.
How you doing? You having a good night?
I am just trying to settle in.
I know that you got one call. I'm trying to figure out where everybody is.
Actually, I thought it was at 8. I dialed in at 8, and I was like, wait a minute, I mean 8. Oh, not once you forward me the number. I was late.
It's funny because I just tried to Google search real quick. If not now, then when? And I thought they'd probably have better videos out there. It's a lot of songs out there about if not now, then when. But yeah, these songs are very interesting. Um, let me do this. My screen that. All righty. So what I did was, like I said, I was really Google searching some stuff about if not now, then when. Um, Trying to see what's motivational out here. For the most part, very, very, very excited about the fact that when you take action, what comes next? And the one thing that usually keep everybody from taking action. I got two on the call right now. What would your guess be? The one thing to keep people from taking action?
Well, I would say money sometimes.
Okay, money. Okay, you got a guess also, Mr. Terry? She didn't get unmuted. So, what would you say about the money? I mean, what it is the money, or is it the what about the money that will keep you from taking action?
I mean, sometimes people feel as if they may not have the extra money. I guess in a sense, um, you know, to move forward or to invest.
So, if you had a person with a lot of money, what will keep them from taking action?
Well, yeah, money. Um, yeah, I'm not sure, Williams. I'm not sure.
Yeah, if a person, let's say I got $1 million, you come to me and say, "Hey, look, I got a new business I want to start, and I got $1 million, and it's my extra money. What would keep me from helping you with your new business?" Or let's flip it. You have $1 million, a million extra dollars that you just want to invest. And I say I got a business to start, and I want you to help me with my new business, and I want you to put in on it. What would keep you from putting in on it? Because you got enough money
Yeah,
now.
right. Nothing. I don't think anything will hold me back from it.
Hmm. So if I come to you and say, "Hey, look, I want to start selling donuts outside on a Monday at 10 o'clock at p.m. on a
I mean,
Monday
as long as
evening,"
you have a plan. As long as you have a plan. I mean, there's a
that's my plan.
plan,
My
and there's
plan. So why is that a good idea right there? I'm selling donuts on Monday at 10:30 p.m. on Monday outside. Is that a good plan?
No, I mean, what is it? Oh, you got to walk the plan all the way through. I mean, what's the objective? What's the plan? What's the objective? The outcome?
That's it. I'm just gonna sell some
I mean,
donuts.
the
I want
return. The
you.
return. What is the return on investment? I mean,
Okay. So more or less, not the money is not the problem, right? Because you got the money. The fear that you may lose it because my plan sorry, it may not be a good investment, right?
no. I mean,
So
you gonna look at all the. You gonna look at all the risks. I mean, you gonna look at all the. I mean, if you've got a proper plan, I mean, you should be able to return. Um, you should still looking at the risk. I mean, you could. I mean, you got a solid plan. The risk factor is going to take in place. I mean, you have nothing now. I mean, you might as well gain. I mean, take that, um, a chance to increase your money. I mean, what are you what are you doing with the money now? I mean, it's not drawing the interest off of it. It's not, Williams. I'm not really sure where you want to go.
well, my whole thing about it is, it's not really the money that's stopping, right? It's the fear of losing it. Most times, the only thing that keeps us from taking action is fear. That's usually the case. Right now, I mean, it don't even have to be money because if you want to play, hey, look, I'm gonna go play basketball for the pros. Okay, really? You know, what would stop me from playing basketball for the pros, right? I'm not good enough, or I don't make the team, or I'm scared to be embarrassed about what the pro people gonna do to me. It ain't about money then. So it's just most time it's fear. So my thing about it is a lot of folks right now working, 9 to 5, which is great. And that's awesome, right? And they want to do real estate. They want to do their own business. They want to do whatever it is. They want to do something else. But they keep saying that, hey, well, right now I got a good job and they're paying well, and I don't have no reason to leave. They ain't make me mad. They ain't do this or that. And it just like, okay, but you got this ideal in your head that you're happy with, but you won't pursue it. I mean, it ain't got to be real estate. It can be anything. It's something that you want to do, but you can't do it because something else taking up your time. And you're doing that because this is safer or this is what you know. So, my question is, if not now, then when? Everybody know with COVID-19 happening, we a lot of folks passed, a lot of folks moved on, and they're not coming back. And they did not live their life to the fullest. You know, the one thing that everybody have is ideas. And your ideas don't come to life unless you pursue them. And my thing about it is, I'll be honest with y'all, I do so much on a daily basis because I don't want to die and not live. Some people
Right.
just passing, a lot of folks just getting up every morning and just going through a routine just to do it, but they're not living. It's gonna be sad. They're gonna end up dying. A lot of folks have died and have not lived not one day in life. They haven't lived their best life. They haven't lived a life that's meaningful. They just they just got up every morning and went through the day and passed through it. This is thoughts. I mean, if not now, then when? I mean, I was trying to Google search. I thought they're gonna have a song out there or something, a video, a nice little clip or something. I didn't find nothing I like, but I got this right here. And that's just my question tonight for everybody on the call. I mean, there's only a few of us on the call. I don't know what happened, what happened tonight, but it's all good. I mean, it is what it is on that part. But if not now, then when? Mm-hmm.
It's the old saying, don't put off today or tomorrow. Same.
Same theory.
Yeah, same theory. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, I can honestly say that I'm in a pretty good situation now in life only because of the actions I took yesterday. History is over with the moment we get through saying it. Once you say something, it's in the past. And time is steady ticking away. Father time ain't waiting on anyone. Father time ain't waiting on no one. We all leaving this thing. We all leaving this thing. We leaving this thing sooner or later.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I mean, if you got an itch, I mean, scratch. I mean, Tremaine, you got on the call for a good minute. I know you have a lot of things going on with a lot of stuff, but I know that you really have an interest. I mean, you got the email today, not too long ago, and you jumped on the call. So, I mean, it's just about now. I just want to encourage everybody to just think about that. You know, Father Time is not getting any friendlier. COVID not getting any nicer. The work environment is not getting any better. I mean, it's gonna stay the same or worse. It don't really get too much better. I mean, keep your job. I ain't saying quit a job, but I'm just saying that hey, it's also time for us to start living our best life today. I know that me and you had a talk earlier. About why we can't stick together, why we can't all be on one accord. Why is it such a struggle for us as people of color, that we got so many, we like you said, we in the back of the line. We in the back of the line, everybody else in front of it, and then when we get in the back, we back there fighting with each other. It's just time for us to put us first. It's time for us to start thinking about something that's going to change our legacy, our lives, and something that we create. Not you ain't got to create. I mean, you can tag on and join in with someone else with something successful, but it's something that you really want to do and be a part of. So let me go and tie this to real estate now. I mean, right now, I mean, because of the situation in 2017, when I decided to start a business in real estate, a real business, a legitimate business, I had rent properties before that. My first rental property I bought in 2010, bought another one in like 2013. And then I moved out of my property and then rented that out. And then my ex-wife, we broke up, and I paid the house. I let her move in the house, my second rent house, and I paid the house off while she was living in it. And and because of that, she was able to put a little bit more work in there, sell the house for 30 times more than we bought it for, and buy her a nicer home. But if we wouldn't have took that action, she wouldn't have ever been in a place to do that. Then at another token, because of the action I took in 2017 to say I'm gonna start my real legitimate business, I done had EDIL come up, the economic disaster. I forgot the other initials in that. Money come, the SBA money came, small loans came. Not to mention, I bought the house at great deals, and then the interest rate dropped. So I was able to refinance all my properties into one loan and lump it all together. So now all those 3, 4, 5 different banks I had, I still got a relationship with those banks. But now I have one bank that have all the loan money. They got my loan there. And now all I have to make is one, pay automatic payments every month to one bank instead of paying 3 or 4 or 5 different banks. And the price dropped down tremendously because I bought the houses for a good price, and the house was worth a lot more than what I bought them for after I did the work on them. And when I refinanced, it just basically just consolidated everything. It was like a debt consolidation. So I went from making, it was a difference, a big difference. So if it wasn't for then, it wouldn't be no now. And now I have the same banks reaching out to me saying, hey, we got some more money out here. They just giving it to business owners. Send me your W-2s and send me your tax form, but send me this, or send me your updated what that thing called, your basically checklist of where you stand with all your rental properties and how much money you make your cash flow. And they want to give you more money. If not now, then when? I'm saying this to encourage you all to take the step to go ahead and keep investing. If you're already investing, or go ahead and look into the bank, or look into the other scenarios, or look into whatever in your mind that you want to do, because time waits for no man. That's why I put this up here. Father Time, he keep ticking. He keep ticking. He keep ticking. My granddaddy told my dad before he died, twice a baby. Twice a baby. You become a child, you become a baby, go a toddler, go to grown age, a young man, then you get to old age and you be a baby again. Somebody gotta clean your butt. Somebody gotta walk you everywhere. Somebody gotta be around and take care of you. So twice a baby. Time is waiting for no one. So I just want to encourage everyone that, hey, look, if you got an itch, scratch, because before you know it, that time is gone. So if not now, then when? And Father Time is taking on. Taking on.
Williams,
Yes.
just want to give you an update. The house that we purchased in December, so far, if you look on the line, we have I think we bought it for what, $490, but it's like $483 now. The house is going for 700 and some thousand, and this one is at, it says 638, 174. That's 155,000. Just, we hadn't even been in the house a year.
Not now, then we.
Yeah, I know exactly. Had we snoozed, we would have lost. You know what I'm saying? That was that. You know, that the goal was to sell the house we were in for 15 years and move. You know, and telling you, I didn't have that all those years. I didn't even have that amount of equity in the other house. You know, it was like 70,000, I think it was. But yeah, so yeah, if you see property, you know, try to do what you need to do to obtain it. You know, to bring it up to whatever level, or do some research. Like you say, you snooze, you lose.
Absolutely.
And our intent is to, give it a year, for us to stay in this house for 2 years, whatever, so we don't get taxed. We be able to take that money and do whatever we want to do with it. In advance, again, but it won't be taxable. But if we were to take it off the table now, then we're going to get taxed that amount. I don't know how much. I forget how.
20%.
But
20%.
But our goal is to stay for 2. That's the
yeah.
That's
change your per capita. Yep, they help with per capita. No, thanks for sharing that. No, I mean, I'm glad that happened for you in that time frame. I mean, especially selling the house in December. And guess what? And most people say that, if you look at statistics, not what most people say. If you look at statistics, home buying occurs mostly in the spring and summertime. Most professional and most responsible adults keep their kids in school the whole school year. So if you're a responsible adult, you're not trying to move on your own accord through the school year, right? I'm gonna give y'all another little trick that I do. I make all my leases in March 31st. March 31st. Pretty much that's almost the end of the school year. That's after the testing, pretty much, or what have you. I do all my leases for March 31st. So I'm up in that way. That way, that if a person want to move, they can move about the springtime, again. Or they can stay in the house and I can keep them all through the winter and all through the fall time, the fall and winter. So spring, okay, fine. People buying houses in the spring. So I don't mind you moving in the spring because people are buying houses. So if you move out, an investor may want to buy. Just look at statistics. It'll show you that. Most real estate agents make most of their money in the spring and in the summer. Why people moving around, why the kids out of school, or why the kids getting ready to transition to college or transition to another school, what have you. So most responsible adults buy houses for their kids to be in good environments. Now we ain't talking about irresponsible people that just move just because they move. Now, if your job have you moving at a certain time, that's a different story. right? You have no choice but to move. But that's the way I kind of do it. So that was another little bonus for everyone. Make your leases in, the 31st of or April sometime, somewhere up in there, or May. I mean, you pick your own time. I use March. And that's, I don't care if they sign a lease in December, in January or February, they're gonna be in there for a whole extra couple months then, because we're gonna go all the way to March the next year afterwards. And I explained to them that, hey, look, this is pretty much a bonus because you go up, I go up each year, so you actually got a few more months in there that you don't have to worry about going up on there. So they'll like that. You actually help them out, make them feel special. But the whole tonight was just about, I want everybody to think about, all the people that has left this place, right? They're gone. COVID-19 happened and they passed on. And I don't know if they had stuff on their heart to do. I don't know if they had ideas in their mind that they did not live out. But if not now, then when? And Father Time is here. Father Time is steady ticking. Steady ticking. So, you're gonna leave here. I want you to live your best life. Some folks just living and passing through the earth. They're not living. They're not living their best life. They're not going out there making the decision to live their best life by doing what they want to do. They're just getting up every morning, going to a job, getting a nice check, and going home. So that's all. Don't snooze, y'all. 2017 changed my life when I decided to go into business with real estate and make it a real business and make business decisions. I want to encourage you all to go ahead and make a move with whatever you want to do in real estate or whatever you want to do in life, and not just live the safe, secure life where you just get up every day and do the same mundane thing over and over again. Live your best life. If you die today or tomorrow, be happy that you lived because you did what you want to do and that you can live a fulfilled life. So what real estate questions y'all have? Or comments? I'm here for questions and answers. Now I can talk to y'all. It's gonna be an early night.
Hey,
What you got?
I didn't have any questions, but I thought that was a good idea to do it around that March. Your anniversary day of closing. The people that's renting the house out or whatever. Because that
Absolutely.
kind of weather, people do move around a lot. So if they was gonna make a move or they intended on staying, that would probably be the time they would decide to do it, like you said.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, don't take my word for it. Please don't take my word. Challenge me by going to research the statistics on when people move. Because if you get into real estate, you need to know these things. You need to know it for yourself.
That's good to know. I'd be able to keep up with that.
You got a birthday around that time?
No, I got a wife that's a school teacher.
Well, that's definitely a good way to keep up with it. It was simply a piece of paper with the name. What other comments or questions anybody have? Hoping for more insight, detectives turned to PJ's friends who'd begun to gather outside his apartment. Detectives are thinking. All right. Well, thanks for sharing the story about when you bought your house, and then within less than a year, you already up $150,000 or more. That's definitely a good feeling right there to buy a home in December, and then in December even came around again, and you were already up over $150,000 because of equity. Yeah. That's not snoozing. That's not losing. That's winning all day long.
Williams, what do you recommend? I know personal, they talk about estates, the wills. What's the best way for us to pass or to keep the the wealth or the equity in our wealth past generation to generation? How? I mean, what's the best avenue? How the best approach do you recommend?
So
To our children to keep it.
so I would say definitely put your house into a trust. I would say a trust. Use a trust to protect for asset protection because a trust nobody know who own a trust, and only certain people can find out who own a trust, right? So that's the first thing. Second thing is just on the will. I mean, you just got to put in your, like you said, the will, what exactly you want to happen. If you want the house to be divided among the kids, or if you want to buy enough house for each kid to have their own house and which house they're going to have. And you can put on there, they got to keep it for so long before they sell it. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever your wishes are. I mean, the will is the best way. That way that the city don't make it, the state don't make any money off of it, do a estate sale and they get paid and your family don't get paid hardly anything, which is ridiculous. But that's what I would say. Put it in a trust to protect it so that, hey, if one of your kids do something crazy for whatever reason, no one can come and take it from them because y'all leave it for them and then will it over. So that's be my recommendation.
Okay. Thank you, Will.
Well,
Okay.
the other thing would be also to keep a lean against it. Okay, so you want to talk to so you want to talk to a real estate attorney. Definitely get with them about this for sure. But you also can put a lien against your home. Keep a lien against it. And it's a couple creative ways of doing it, but the one way I found creative to do it is get a line of credit against your house with a bank. And if a line of credit is against your house with the bank for the equity, if no one can sue you if your house is paid off in full and take the house from you because you have a partner.
Okay, William, go back once again. I was following you, but I lost you. To keep a lien against it, but then you said take a line of credit through a bank. Now, continue. I'm sorry.
So with the bank, a bank gonna put a lien against your house once you get a line of credit against it because now they're your partner.
Right.
So that's the lien that you can do. Now that's one way of doing a lien. Now you got other ways you can do a lien, but that's creatively. You know, you can put a you can put a work lien against your own house. But I mean, like I said, that's you gotta be creative on that. That's why you have to really you could do it, but that's one way of doing it too. So that I'll talk to you more about that later, but that's a creative way. You have to research that a little bit more. I heard people doing that.
But Williams, the purpose of the line to do the lien, what is that's just to hold it up, prevent it from being so what?
Asset protection. So like you do like let's say me and you driving in a car and all of a sudden somebody hit us in the car and I die.
Oh, they can't withdraw anything. They sue me for what is
Paid off.
the equity.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was a tricky way to try to put a lien against. Now, guess what? Now, hold on, wait. Let me back up on that one. They can sue you for some. They can't get you for the other equity. If you don't have the equity used up, they can't use it. Mm-hmm. But if you have a line of credit against your home, and then somebody all of a sudden, like some incident happened like that, where we have a wreck and I die in a wreck, and then my family want to sue you, you can actually have money that you have access now to take out of your house to have no equity in it.
Okay.
Now, that's again, it's tricky because if a person go and prove that you did that right afterwards, they can take the house possibly then, but they gotta have a dang good lawyer. But you have enough money to pay for your lawyer and everything out the equity of the house. So that's
Wow.
why I always encourage people to get a line of credit against your house
Mhm.
if it's paid off.
Oh, okay, got it. Because that was my second. I was like, okay, I was gonna ask you what um do you recommend doing for other homes? Like, say for instance, you have a home that's $30-some thousand for. Do you continue to pay it off? So you're suggesting just take a line of credit out for it. Of
Absolutely.
course, take the line of credit and use some of that money to invest in other things, but you're saying um, take the line of credit out. Don't leave that
Absolutely.
money sitting.
Absolutely. Yeah. Take the
So
wait.
is
So
there?
when you take the line of credit out, you don't have to use the money. The money is there. It's just available.
Mm,
It ain't no
got it.
charge to have it.
So at no point is it recommended to pay off a house.
I,
No,
I don't think it. Yeah,
you don't think.
yes, you can, but if you pay off a house, you
Mhm.
better have it in a trust.
Okay.
Yeah, you need to have asset protection. When you pay off a house, you actually is more liable now, and you're vulnerable to vultures.
Got it.
So yes, you can definitely. I would not say don't pay it off, but you gotta have some stuff. Now with a lien against it, a line of credit against it, it's still paid off. You just got access to money available, and the smart thing to do is have your money available. I mean, what they say, cash rule, cash is king. They say cash is king. So if you got a line of credit against a
Mhm.
house and paid off, you ready at the drop of a dime if an opportunity comes.
Right.
So I definitely encourage you to do that. And then guess what? If something happens, like let's say, hey, people do stupid stuff all the time, right? Kids in college, something happen, kid get locked up. Guess what? You can't say you ain't got the money. You can bail them out.
Right.
The house is up. Hey, look, the house is up. You got to put the house up anyway when you bail them out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Mm.
that's real smart right there. Use a line of credit
Mhm.
from the house that you got to put up to bail them out anyway. Just because you know they ain't do nothing wrong, they just somebody messed over them, and now you need to figure it out. So now you can pay for the lawyer and everything with that. I mean, that's worst case scenario, but it's real. Another one. If you have a rental property and you have kids and the house is paid off, you can take the line of credit off, pay for your kids' college, and the renter that's staying in the house paying the money back.
Mhm. Right.
That's another trick. All of a sudden your child turns 17 and you say, okay, you did very well in college. I mean, high school, you did a great job. I want to buy you a nice car. Okay, line of credit is available. Go buy them a line of credit cash. Because I'm a prime person. I mean, I'm driving a 2000. You seen my truck. Uh, I think you see my truck. But that Denali truck. I mean, I went there with a check. I didn't go there asking for no nothing. I said, this is how much I'm gonna pay you. You go to my check right here. All I have to do is write your name on there. What's up, y'all? They're like, Mr. Williams, can you do better? Can you go up a little bit? No. I got a check for a truck. I wanna drive off, and here's the check. So if you have a line of credit, you can do the same thing. Write a check right out for what you want and tell them how much you're gonna pay for their product. And guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna say, okay. Because ain't too many folks gonna come with a check that big.
We was not sure. But I could tell you in Georgia and South Carolina, just visiting home, and as I go home, there's a lot of houses just vacant, just sitting, waiting. I mean, people are the apartments are it's so hard for, I know in Allendale, South Carolina, Sylvania, it's hard for people to find good, a place to live. There's opportunity, for those that are on the line, there's opportunity to find rental property. Um, you know, they may not have to pay, much, they may not have to borrow that much. They may have to put a little work into it, but at the end, it'll be worth it. Long term, they rather, the person may qualify for, assistance. So that is, um, guaranteed income, for them. Most of the houses I look at, I say they're solid. I mean, you got to go in, of course. The walls and the floors and stuff like that. They're gonna majority of the time going to be solid. You may have to, repair the roof, appliances. It all depends upon AC unit, what have you. But for the most part, when they build homes, they're solid. You just got to go in and put, a little work into it, to get it the way, it needs to be, to either rent it or to sell it. So for those on the line that may not have property, or, as Williams has stated, that may, be waiting for tomorrow, the next day to purchase, consider making that purchase today. If you're not looking for, rentals, then hey, get a primary home and turn around and live in it, fix it up, and make it your rental property later. Or find a rental property, fix it up, and take the deductions off as your rental property, fix it up, and at some point, and you may want to turn around and move in it.
Right.
It's worth it.
I have a startup business called Let's Get It Done Together, and I went to the Small Business Association just for some tips and tricks. And I had a counselor. I told him basically my plan was to invest in the southern states because the properties are a little bit more cheaper in the southern states. And he was saying, I live in Maryland currently, and he was saying, telling me basically I should just get the experience of being a landlord in Maryland first. But the property in Maryland is much more expensive than, say, Jacksonville, Florida, or Greensboro, North Carolina, for example. So they kind of threw me off a little bit as far as, I guess, because, when someone is giving you the advice, they're trying to give you the best advice possible. And I appreciate him for that. But at the same time, it kind of like threw my whole train of thought off. And I'm glad you're saying that it's a lot of properties in Georgia, because that's what I was considering, like more of the southern states to do my first property investment. But I think his concern was basically, I live in Maryland, how would that whole setup look with me trying to take care of business in a southern state? So now I'm just trying to like readjust as far as finding my first investment property. But I'm just glad that you're speaking up about Georgia and saying, it's opportunities there. So thank you for that.
This is Shanita, ma'am, I just want to respond to that. I live in Virginia. I have three homes in Georgia. It all depends upon where. If you're able to manage it from here. Now, I would tread if it's the first time. You can get burnt by property managers. If you don't get the right one, you can get burnt on the end of not managing yourself if you don't know the laws in that state, how to evict, and what the tenant rights are, what your right, as homeowner. So it also depends upon location. If you got students, if you're by a military base, or if you just have none of that, just like I said, off a section, have someone. But I have family members. There's 2 properties I have in Georgia that I allow my family members to somewhat, they have eyes on, for me.
Right.
Now,
Right.
in Columbus, Georgia, I have a property manager. I did it for 2 years where it worked great. The person just sent me the rent every month. Everything worked well. If the property needed to be fixed, I had personnel to go out. But then when that person left, it wasn't so great with the receiving rent and all the different things. So I had to go and get a property manager. It is worth it because I don't have the problems and issues. I just every month they deposit the money. They fix the repair if there's any repairs. Not exceeding over like $200, whatever. But you got to get a good property manager. So it just depends upon the house as well. But I'm telling you, the houses that I purchased in Georgia, all three of them were foreclosed homes. I paid I think $85,000 for one full brick home in Columbus, Georgia, from the bank. I did that. I didn't sight unseen, but I had someone on that end, a good friend of mine, that was law enforcement. That hey, this is a good area. What have you? That was my friend. I couldn't do it for a regular law. You can't do that for the police to get anyone to tell you whether it's a good area. But and then the other two, I had my mom go get eyes on the place. Like again, you can do the research from your home in Maryland about everything is on the and Wiggins has the tools for us to but back in the day I only had the tools that were available online. Use it online, look at how much the house, the worth, the area. For the most part, like I said, you guys will be so amazed to see the travel in these communities, brick homes, just sitting there. Like they said, some of the meetings before, when you start seeing grass on the roof or, some different things, but the houses are solid. You can't, you got to walk inside. You got to look inside. I mean, just because the place may look trashed, well, guess what? That's just clothes. That's just,
That's stuff that can be taken care of. Yeah, just discarded.
Right, there you go. So, and it's only a little hard work. Maybe one weekend you may say, hey, I got to get a truck and I got to get, some of my friends or some family members or whatever, just to clean up, get this stuff out of the house, paint, you can get somebody to paint. I mean, it could be done, guys. It could be done. It's just a little bit of, a little bit of work.
Let me ask you a question. So I have more credit than I have physical cash for. So the counselor at the Small Business Association also told me that it wouldn't be a good idea to use my credit far as purchasing my first home versus just having the down payment for whatever particular property that I see that's good, that's going to make a good return. How do you feel about that? I mean, it sounds like you got a lot of experience.
Well, that will, that is some lessons learned. Williams can tell you more so, and there's maybe some personnel with more experience on the finance side. I did run into some hiccups. I'm not the best person for, utilizing but I can tell you what I did. The homes, and it worked well. I used my credit. I used it for me. I used the credit. May not have been the best avenue, but I used credit. For the house that I bid for, I think it was $54,000 online. The only thing they asked for me to do online was to I had to commit like earnest money. I had to put $2,000 down for earnest money. That was out of pocket. And then I had what I recommend, and some may say different, but when it comes down to these houses, I think appraisal is important. You need to pay $300, $500.
It is, but a lot of people are bypassing the appraisals and the inspections now. They just
no. Well, I mean, for me, I look at if I mean that's a risk, and that if that person is willing to. But the houses in Georgia, the reason why I say the houses in Georgia and those places are unknown. You don't know, the houses haven't been lived in a while. It could be plumbing. It gives you an assessment of what you may need, so you can prepare for how much it's going to cost, or should you move forward? Before, should you put even more money into the house? I mean, you see what I'm saying? So I recommend that. So I only took out, like I said, the $2,500, and boom, that was it. The bank didn't ask me for anything. Now the day I guess is what 20% or something.
You did this as
that you gotta-
you did this under your investment company's name, or you just I mean,
no, no. At the time I did this with Williams. Now we're learning different. All this I did under my name. I did it under my name. I
mhm,
bought them. It's probably not the right way, but I did do on the tax side every year. When they were rented, I took
mhm,
if I put money into repairs, when I go visit Georgia, I go see my parents and I stop by the house. I make sure I go by each house because I'm taking off that trip that I took to
mhm,
Georgia. Whether I fly, which I'm not flying now, but when I drive, whatever. And she's able, my accountant is able to take off. So Williams may be able to tell you a better avenue venue for it. And now, ma'am, you could do secondary homes if you want to get a loan. With a secondary home, the only thing is you must have the intent to move into that home.
yeah, that's
I
the
don't think
thing. I
there's a,
just purchased a new home in November, so I have like
but
no intent. This is just solely for investments. It's not like I don't want to move into the house.
okay, because you can. I don't know what you could do a secondary where you could turn around and it's secondary and then you make it turn into investment. I mean, I don't know. And you got to talk to, your lawyer, I guess, not your lawyer, but your accountant,
Mhm.
where, Williams, can you help me out on the finance piece? Ma'am, I can only just, like I said, I purchased all these
But
homes. This
thank
one,
you for your advice. I appreciate it.
yeah, and
Um,
with the loans, one thing I will say,
mhm,
with the loans, make sure you should be assessing your credit and you should assess what you should be able to qualify for. So at the end of the day, when you go to closing, nothing should be a surprise. If you have if you try to use lenders that other people have used, don't go in with a lender that just before you're closed because you are, I don't know what nationality you are, but depending upon who you are, being a female, could be a female, you don't want the
mhm.
lender to be biased.
Of
So
course, I've been through
that's
that
the thing.
before with my first with this property I had, my personal property. I've been through
They'll
that.
try to do a switcheroo. They'll try to do a switcheroo before closing,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
bring, different fee or different interest rate or what have you. And the same with the appraisal. There's some things to do. But Williams, can you help me out to tell her, I guess, the best way for financing?
Yeah, I would definitely say that if you have cash, you always want to keep your cash available, and I would use credit. I mean, hospitals are built with credit. With credit, airplanes are
Mhm.
built with credit. Motels, hotels, everybody that's millionaires don't use their money. They use other people's money. That's called OPM. So
Right.
definitely use credit if you got good credit because that's what matters.
Mhm.
When your credit
I
when
mean,
you
when you're saying use credit, are you saying use credit for the 20% for the investment property, or are you saying use credit to obtain a loan for the investment property? Which
So it depends on your strategy. I don't know what actually you're trying to do with the part about what you're trying to save money on. Like so if you're doing it a business way, you're gonna have to pay the 20% down if you're doing it a business, right?
Mhm.
And you'll have to, yeah. So you'll be using your credit for that part of it. If you're trying to, I thought earlier you said somebody you have cash, but the person was telling you use
No,
cash.
I have more credit
Uh-huh.
than I do cash. And I was asking the guy, the counselor guy at my local small business association, and he was saying, well, if you he would use the credit card, like the credit that I have for us to fix up the property, but he will want me to put my own cash down for the down payment, if that makes sense.
So you don't have a line of credit or anything like that. You just have credit card. When you say credit, you're talking about credit cards.
Yeah, just credit cards and good credit like
Okay.
that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you definitely can do that as well. Definitely, yeah, he's telling you right about that. But I mean, the thing about it is how you gonna get the asset right now. What was your means to getting the asset to buying the house? What
Um,
did you plan to do that? How you plan on doing that?
well, first I've taken a couple classes and we was talking about the creative financing strategies and basically and going through owner financing. I feel like that's a I don't know because I can't even tell you how I feel about that because I really, to be honest, haven't invested the time to actually physically do it. But it sounds like a lot of, I wouldn't say work. It sounds like a lot of, it sounds like a harder process versus than the bank just giving you a loan for your first investment property, I would say. Sounds like a lot of real tape. Calling people, seeing if they want to leave, and you got to follow up, call them back, keep calling them to see if they, interested in doing the creative financing strategies. Um, Versus then just using your credit, having your down payment, and just, doing it. Like,
No,
I don't,
absolutely. No, absolutely. No, it's harder work, and you got to really know what you're doing to get a great deal.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, but it's worth it in the long run because you're buying a house, you're getting a house for dirt cheap. But I ain't telling you to do that strategy. That's why that's the first thing I say is depend on what strategy. So what strategy are you gonna use if you're not gonna use creative finance? What strategy are you gonna do to purchase your first home?
Well, I was just going to go through a bank.
Okay, that's fine. That
But I
20%.
don't know if that's going to be right. I don't, it's just, I went through a lot with purchasing my home and just recently trying to refinance. And the game is getting a little dirty out here, dealing with a lot of these lenders and appraisers. And
Right. And something I wanted before I know you guys are something I want to share. I got a good friend of mine share with me for this last loan. I had any problems before, but I'm gonna give you an example. I got the last loan was 2.25. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, for 490,000 dollars.
That's pretty
She
good.
told me, she said that with your checking account, sometimes lenders ask you for your checking account. You want to have, if you can,
Mhm.
have two checking accounts. One that you're using to operating. What if you're going to the MGM, you're going to the liquor store, you're shopping online. You want to use that card separate because when the banks request for your checking account, they're gonna scrub through and line by line and see
Mhm.
all where you're spending. It's something that is we don't. I'm telling you, I'm sharing this with you guys. She told me she went through and lined everything out on her checking account. They didn't like that. The only thing they need to see is the balance, but they
Right.
want to see. So
How you
in
spending your
order to
money?
avoid that, right? But that's not what they're there for. They're there to see where that earnest money came from.
Of
Okay, that's
course.
all they need to know, and how much money you have in there. They don't need to see that. So she said that is something you don't. She said if you have separated, and do you know
Mhm.
they not saying that keep saying the bank kept
Mhm.
asking, well, how did this money get inside your account? Where did you get this money from? Like for your earnest money, because you have to show that. So over a period of time, I was like, which I did. I started saving money at home, and yes, it was from from home.
Mhm.
The money, because that's another thing.
But
When
then
you
when
have
you
money
just
at home,
when you populated that money in the bank, I mean, that's probably why they was
right,
alerted.
right, but no. What I'm saying is to you all, that's you want to. Don't worry about. Don't not saying don't worry about that, but if you have if you're without money coming from the bank, or if you have money in a savings account, they are going to scrub those lines. They have no business looking at those lines. Their goal is to know the earnest money coming in. That's it. You don't need any distractors. You know what I'm saying? You want them to give you the best rating, the best
Mhm.
interest rate. You don't want, so we want to reduce that. And again,
Right.
another thing, you got to do your research. You got to make sure your everything is in order, ready to go for that finance. That you're ready to go. You don't want no issues. That house, that how much that house is going to praise for. What the houses are praising for in the area. You already know what's wrong with that house, so they can give you that loan. You want to reassure that bank. And it's just a lot of little things, man. I tell you, even the appraisals here, now you even see in the news, it's true. If you want to get a better appraisal, take down your pictures and photos. You don't want any distractors in the house. You may want to get somebody of a different nationality to come sit in the house with you for that refinance. I mean, this is true. I don't know who's on the
Oh, I
network,
just went.
but I'm just
I just
speaking.
went through it. And my house was super low ball, and they couldn't even find any appraisers, and they just sent me a trainee, someone that had no experience, and it was like a total mess. So I know like the ins and outs far as these appraisers, and just because the whole COVID situation is getting everybody's tight, tight for work, short of staff. It's just a lot that goes into trying to purchase properties now, and it's not like cut and dry. So but you advised me basically the same thing that the SBA counselor advised me, but not really, because he was saying basically to buy in Maryland, and you're saying basically if I don't have somebody to have eyes on that property, then you wouldn't recommend me to go down to South to buy property.
So I would say this: you got to figure out what's your goal, your end state, right? It's not about how much something costs; it's about how much cash flow. So that's for me. Cash flow is important to me.
Right. I want to be able to make like above 15% on my on my return or whatever I invest in. I don't want to invest in something that's not going to make me less than that.
So with that being said, then you already know your goal with your number. So it don't matter if it's Maryland, it's the South, is where it don't matter about that. As long as you got the funds to be able to afford the property and be able to get the return that you want. And if it's local, I agree. You should start off with something local, close to you, that you can actually know the laws for it, go put your hands on, see, touch, feel, what have you. The further away it is, the more anything can happen. And now you have to pay more money. All the money you thought you were saving, you're gonna be paying back and forth, traveling back and forth, fighting with people and trying to find a lawyer to work for you and everything. So you definitely got to know you got to know a background on it. So whatever area you want to invest in, you have to learn that area, not the whole state. You need to find a couple zip codes, research those zip codes and focus on zip codes. Once you understand the laws, like she said, the renter laws, the landlord laws, just that's the most important thing. And then after that, if you can find a good property manager, a good luck with that. It's stuff like that you have to have in place. And then you got to have a good handyman. I mean, if you don't have a handyman and you have a house to go down and you're paying regular costs, you definitely get ripped off. So I'm luckily I do have my homes in the South. I have one house up here and I have all my houses in the South. But I have my mom there, my dad there, my uncles there. I have people looking out for my house. Now, the one I have in Mississippi, I'm trying to sell it because I don't have anybody there. Now, what I did was smart. I got the guy next door to cut the yard so he can be somebody to look out for my house. If he cutting the yard and getting paid, he gonna look out for me.
Of course.
So, but I did make a relationship with a lawyer there. I did learn the rules there for the landlord and the renters. And I did go to court and evict someone and made relationship with the customer and everything. So, and I do have a handyman there. But I'd rather get rid of that house because it's too far from my other house. And I bought that house helping the older people out.
Mhm.
I didn't. It wasn't part of my strategy, but it was one of like the six. I think it was like my sixth house, about fifth or sixth. Um, and I wanted to try something different. I mean, I just said, well, hell, why not? Just try something different.
Mhm.
But and I'm selling it to the person that rented it to me now, so I'm gonna
Let
sell
me.
it to you.
I got one more question. I don't want to take up like all the time, but I barely catch you guys on Mondays, so I have one more question.
Okay.
Far as financial planning, far as like not like a CPA, but like um I have talked to someone that basically does like the whole, like if I find a property and she would tell me if this is a good this would give me a good investment on my return, and it's a good property to invest in. And but the price was a little high. I'm just throwing this out here to see if you guys are familiar with financial planning as far as real estate is concerned. And that's like every 3 months, like $3,000. But I asked her, I said, well, could I get, you know, could I write it off on my taxes? And she said that I could, but I don't know how that would look. Far as, I mean, if is it a big percentage? Far as I'm gonna get back on my taxes for that, or if I want the numbers to kind of even out and work for me versus she's saying that she teach me how to save money, far as investing in certain properties, and like far as the taxes and everything, like everything financially across the board. But I just wanted to get some feedback from you guys if you have a financial planner, and how does that look for you guys at the end of the year, people that have investment business on the call.
So when you say a financial planner and 3,000, I mean, I guess I'm lost a little bit in there.
It's you pay her quarterly. It's like you pay her quarterly, and it's like $3,000 every quarter.
Oh yeah, no, I don't have a financial planner. I'm my financial planner. Nah, I don't. What's the need of a financial planner? Just for what purposes?
For tax purposes, it's an accounting, but it's not like you just go file your taxes. It's basically she
A
tells,
bookkeeper?
yeah, like she's a bookkeeper, the taxes, other business endeavors, someone along that line.
Okay, gotcha. So I do my own bookkeeping. It's
Mm-hmm.
nothing but a spreadsheet with a house, and whenever something break on it, tear up on it, or something maintenance on there, I just write down how much I paid this person. But I don't want to do that. I'll be honest with you. I do have all my spreadsheets. Every time I pay rent, I can put it on there. But again, that's not crucial. What I do is I got QuickBooks. QuickBooks Pro or QuickBooks you can buy online for $6 a month.
Mm-hmm.
You link it up to your bank account, and any money that come in and any money go out, you can put a note beside it if you write a check, or it goes right through your phone. I mean, it's actually on my phone. Every time money go in and out of my bank account, QuickBooks come across my phone showing money in and out, and I just write a note in there. Okay, this was rent. This was rent in. Rent. This was expense. This was cutting the yard. This was taxes. This.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So I don't. Yeah, I don't need to pay nobody for that. That QuickBooks do all that for me for $6 a month, and I can write that out too.
But then you still hire an accountant for your taxes, or no? You do your own
Yeah,
taxes.
I got CPA for my taxes. The only reason why I got CPA for my taxes, I can do my own taxes, but why would I do that when I want somebody with a license that got their license online and you carry that on your taxes too? So every time I pay another $450, $500, or whatever I pay him, because I don't pay that much for a whole year, you get to carry it at the nature of your taxes. So that just makes sense to use a CPA for that. And plus, he's a real estate investor as well. And that's what I'm going to tell you about the banks. The difference is if you use a regular bank, yes, you're going to get robbed, you get stole, you feel like a crook. But if you go to an investor friendly bank, then you're going to feel like you're the best thing in the world because investors use the same type of banks over and over again. We don't use a regular commercial bank. We use the same banks that is real estate friendly. and you don't have to feel as robbed. They love you and you love them, and y'all work together well.
Real estate friendly. What do you mean about?
So real estate friendly banks, basically when you go there and you tell them I'm an investor, they start smiling and they start talking to you in a whole different way. If you go to a regular bank and just say, hey, I'm an investor, like, okay, then come back here and fill out this form, fill out that form, right? Real estate friendly banks, if you're part of any REOs, real estate, investor organizations or whatever, RIOs or what have you, these folks right here, they all gonna talk about the same bank. And when you hear people that does real estate talk about the same bank in your area that you want to invest in, that's the bank you want to use because that bank is real estate friendly. They basically gonna have the 20 years amortizations, but every 5 years, you're gonna have to do a refinance pretty much every 5 years, but you're gonna be on a 20-year amortization. So you're doing a 5-year loan, kind of sort of like you got 5 years before you got to rotate it again. And every year it pays down in 5 years, and then you got to pay a little fee, but it's friendly. The interest rate usually be around about 4 to 6% on those. You don't come up with all those crazy other interest rates. You're gonna pay 20% down, or you can buy a house with 20% equity in it, and then they'll take the equity out the house and let you get the house at a great deal still.
Right.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's
So I should just look up real estate friendly banks in my area?
Well, no, you have to meet up with some real estate investors and talk to them. You have to meet with some people. This comes through word of mouth pretty much because they ain't gonna pop up like that. Yeah, you gotta pretty much talk to somebody that's invested in real estate that they have a lot of houses. And once you do that, then they'll link you with the right people.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem. So I appreciate you. Thank you for asking the questions. I hope you can make another call.
Yes, I'm gonna try to make more calls because I'm learning a lot. I only made one call maybe about a month and a half ago. And I've been trying to get back to you guys ever since. But I'm just a little busy, like
worries.
all of us, right?
Yeah,
So, but I'm glad I caught you guys tonight.
Awesome sauce. I'm happy you got on. Thank you for tuning in, everybody, and y'all have a blessed week and see y'all next week. Talk to y'all next week at least.
Okay, thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
All right.